with electric dreams. Circuits built to last, engines roaring, tearing past, neon highways burning bright, chasing ghosts through endless night. Cyber echoes call our name, lenses sparking through the frame. Through the grid we blaze a trail, no escape, no time to fall. Threat is rising, feel the stain, power surging through the veins, pulses racing, overload, ride the system, brace for coil. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town.
I've walked 1,000 bridges before.
Digital thunder, flashing screens, drenched in ultraviolet beams. I am the glitch in your design, breaking through the borderline. Pulses raising, feel the strain, power surging through the veins. Pulses racing, broken below, lock the system, rock close. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no. We own the streets, we run the town. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Run the town. with electric dreams. Circuits built to last, engines roaring, tearing past, neon highways burning bright, chasing ghosts through endless night. Cyber echoes call our name, lenses sparking through the frame. Through the grid we blaze a trail, no escape, no time to fall. Threat is rising, feel the stain, power surging through the veins, pulses racing, overload, ride the system, brace for coil. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town.
I walked 1,000 bridges before.
Digital thunder, flashing screens, drenched in ultraviolet beams. I am the glitch in your design, breaking through the borderline. Pulses raising, feel the strain, power surging through the veins. Pulses racing, broken below, lock the system, rock close. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Feel the surge, the currents flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We
everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome in. Are we excited for class today? Chat, are we excited? Are we excited? Are we hyped? Are we ready to learn and be edumacated today? I hope so. Because one, I'm not feeling sick at all, which is great. My thyroid is actually working for once. I'm not tired, and also I don't have brain fog today, which is great. So, welcome in. Sorry, I'm stealing the glasses. I cannot see the presentation without them. I'm sorry. No, you're not allowed. But welcome. Today we're learning about the wonderful world of manatees. Aren't they just so kawaii, desu, you know, so cute, so cute. Alrighty, guys. So, how many of you guys know about manatees? Like, who in chat, like, do you guys do you know about manatees? And if so, like, how much do you know about them? Like, you know, what's your like level of knowing about manatees? Like, when you hear the word of manatee, what do you think of? I know they fish. No, they are mammals. Correct, psychos. Welcome into chat. And also, you are correct. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, some of you guys you're doing your best. You're doing your best, okay? They're herbivores and going extinct. Correct. Yes, yes, yes. So those are two factors. I know they're herbivores. Yes, correct. So, you know, they are a wonderful, cute little, you know, animal here. So, you know, a lot of the questions is, what are manatees, right? So you may have heard people also call them cows of the sea. They're considered sea cows because they are large, they're slow moving, and, you know, they're found in, you know, aquatic places. And they're an aquatic mammal. So, you know, it's really, really cool. So, you know, you can see they're called the sea cow, which, you know, they don't look anything alike, but it's just their behaviors are kind of similar. I've seen one eat broccoli at the zoo. Aww. I think there's one in Finding Nemo 2. I don't think there was. Maybe there is. I don't know. I can't remember. But here's kind of the classifications here. So they start off in the kingdom of Animalia, which is the same for all our animals that we're going to learn about. Phylum is the chordata because, you know, they have, you know, the chordata because that's a whole thing we'll go into. I can break down those two eventually. They're obviously mammals, so they're in the mammalian mammalia. I can't pronounce shit. And then they're in the order of Sirenia. Family is Trixidae. Their subfamily is, you know, it just, here's kind of the breakdown of it, okay? They aren't fish, chat. No, they're not. Ironically, they share enclosure with the piranhas. Really? I mean, well, yeah. I mean, so piranhas, so a lot of people think like the meat-eating ones, but did you know there's actually there's not as many species of meat-eating piranhas. There's actually a lot of piranhas that are actually like herbivores pretty much, or omnivores, where they eat like fruits and stuff that fall into the water. So there's actually a lot of piranhas that are actually fruit eaters. So yeah. So there are actually, believe it or not, chat, there are actually 3 types of manatees. 3 types. Crazy. I know. A lot of people are like, what do you mean? They look the same. And believe it or not, this guy here, he's actually not a manatee. You would believe it. Oh my god. And I'll show you why here in a little bit. Sorry I'm late. No worries. So believe it or not, so yes, there are 3 types. There technically are 4, but one of them is extinct. And we'll get into the details about that. That one's been extinct. So there's only 3 living species now. There is the Amazonian manatee, the West Indian manatee, and the West African manatee. So those are the 3 types of manatees. A lot of people, when they hear manatee, they think of the Florida manatee, which is the West Indian manatee. So, and there's like 2 subspecies in the West Indian manatee. So there's the Antillean and the Florida manatee. So yeah, there's 2 different subspecies. Fun fact about that. So they're not all the same, crazy, but they're a part of the same you know, same place. Oh my god! Yo, am I getting a double raid right now? Holy shit! Oh my god, is that Rentaro? Oh my god! Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Liz Justice, Narwhal Queen, ruler of the seas. And today we're doing a class on manatees. I'm teaching everyone. I teach every Friday at 5 p.m. EST to teach the wonderful world of the manatees. What were you guys doing? What were you guys streaming? Oh my god, Ren, how have you been? Dude, it's been a hot minute since I talked to you last. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. We need to catch up and like chat, man. I miss ya. But welcome in, chatters. Like I said, we're teaching today. I'm teaching my chat here. So I actually have a marine biology degree. So technically I am a marine biologist. And, you know, I'm like, hey, I might as well use that, you know, my degree and streaming because, you know, I'm not able to go and do my actual marine job because I'm landlocked. Yeah. So fun. But yeah, welcome in. We're learning about manatees, and we're finding out there's actually 3 species of manatee, and there's 2 subspecies out of one of the 3 subspecies, which is crazy. So, but yeah, welcome in. Oh, you were playing Pretend You're Yeezy XC. What is that about? Wait, what is that? Wait, were you two streaming together, or are these 2 separate streams? Wait, I'm so confused. Because I see Rochu. I'm so sorry I butchered your name. I apologize. I'm awful at pronouncing. You'll learn that very easily, but yeah. Cards Against Humanity in general, and yes, it was a class. Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure. That's awesome, dude. I love Cards Against Humanity. Great game. But sorry. Anyways, let's get back on topic here. Feel free if you have to raid and run. I totally understand you guys, you know, have stuff, time zones, all that stuff. Take care of yourselves. I appreciate you for dropping in your beautiful raiders here. And raiders, do not worry if you have to also head on out. You are more than welcome to drop a lurk as well. We appreciate that, and we will make sure to pass on that love to others as well. So thank you for coming in. So yeah, so where we left off, there are 3 types of, you know, manatees, and I'm gonna let people. Liz's brain got manatees by the double raid. Exactly. That's a good one. That's a good one. Jiba, thank you for the follow. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name as well. I'm really bad at pronouncing. I'm so sorry. Ren, I totally get it. It's probably very, very late for you. So, like, don't feel bad. I totally understand you need to go to bed. So, I know that very well. So, you're good, homie. I appreciate you. Alrighty. So, sorry, I'm getting thrown off here. So, as we were talking about, there are 3 types of species of manatee. As I mentioned, the Amazonian manatee, the West African manatee, and the West Indian manatee, which has 2 subspecies, which is the Antillean manatee and the Florida manatee. Jib is fine. Awesome. It's 2 a.m. Yeah, no worries. No worries. You take care of yourselves. So you're probably going, well, how do they look that different, right? And believe it or not, you can see here actually the difference between the 3 right here And then the dugong. So dugons do look kind of similar to a manatee, and a lot of people get them confused a lot of the times. And that's why I threw in kind of a little fun picture back here of this one. Because if you look at its tail, that's not a manatee tail. So manatees have a very kind of like round, like pad, kind of like a paddle board kind of look. It's a Pokemon dugong. No, it's not. No, it's not a Pokemon. Believe it or not, the dugong is based off of a real animal known as a dugong as well. And I love their scientific name. It's just dugong. That's their scientific name. It's crazy, dude. But you can see here between the three species of manatee, they all have the same round padded tail versus a dugong, which has more of like a typical tail that you see in like whales and dolphins. So that's how you can actually, if you're not quite sure, because they look super similar, you can look at the tail and that's how you can tell which is which. And then also their face is a little bit more rounder. They have kind of this like big kind of snout, while manatees have more of a you know, like a puppy looking face, you know? They look like little puppies. And then between these three species of manatee, so the Amazonian manatee, I'm sure you can tell, it's pretty easy to identify because the coloration on it. You can tell by the coloration. It's very, very dark in color. So that is one way to identify an Amazonian manatee. One of the very big features about them, they're going to be a lot darker in color. They're also going to be a lot thinner. So you can see it's very thin and lean. And it's also the smallest one out of them too. And then the West African manatee, you can see it's a lot rounder in shape. It's more kind of, you know, a lighter gray color, which is really nice. And it's a very solid color versus what a lot of people typically, when they see manatees, they think of the Florida manatees, which is this kind of coloration. But you can see here, it's not a solid color. It's got kind of this like brown like patterning on it. And that's also a nice way to kind of identify the two. And plus, you can kind of tell by the way they look, like this one has a little bit more of a snout kind of pushed in a little bit, you know, versus this one where its snout is kind of sticking out a little more. But yeah, so these are the three types of, you know, manatees that are out there. So that's how you can kind of identify them between their species. So that's an easy way to identify one from the other. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Now, you can by the way they look, there's a woman's marine mammal, no time to talk. Oh my God. So, what is the size and weight of a manatee in general? So, between the three, they do vary depending on the species. So for instance, the Amazonian manatee, as I mentioned, it's the smallest of the manatee species, and they typically will measure around 2.8 to 3 meters, or for the Americans, it's 9.2 to 9.8 feet in length. And then their weight is going to be roughly around 350 to 500 kilograms. And for the American terms, it's 770 to 1,100 pounds. That's pretty big for the smallest. That is the smallest, okay? I'm just saying, like, that's the smallest size, which they can get up to over 1,000 pounds. That's kind of crazy, chat. That's kind of crazy, okay? And then up next, we have the West Indian manatee. So as I mentioned, most people know them as the Florida manatee. That's usually what people usually see. And then the other one, which is the Antillean manatee. And these guys are usually around 2.7 to 3 meters, or 9 to 10 feet for an American terms. And then they weigh about 363 to 545 kilograms, or in the American terms, 800 to 1,200 pounds. So, and the crazy thing is that there's some out there. Yeah, the freedom units. Freedom! And they have actually found some of them to actually reach up to beyond the average weight. They found some that were 13 to 15 feet in length, and then over 3,500 pounds. Okay, that's a lot. That's a chunky boy, okay? That's a chunker, all right? Millimeters, I forgot to convert that. That was my bad. I need to look at that. Yeehaw, freedom units. Is the Florida ones the one you're not allowed to touch? You're not allowed to touch any of them at all. Absolute unit, yeah. In all my time I was living in Meth Gatorland, I never saw one, but I also never looked. Yeah, no, they're very cute. You can find them usually after a cold snap in like the warm areas. There's like areas that they tend to huddle to. 10,000 millimeters. Wait, no, not millimeters. Wait, no. It's in kilograms. I need kilograms, Sir Big Cat. I need to rewrite this. I want to get spotted by the gators and the monkeys or pythons are worth. Yeah, Floridians. Fair. Floridians are probably the most dangerous out of all those. Was that an over 9,000 reference? Don't ever take me seriously. It was. Do not touch any manatees at all. Yeah, do not touch any of them, and we'll get into details as to why. And then finally, we have the West African manatee, and these guys are usually around 10 to 13 feet or 3 to 4 meters in length, and they can weigh up to 794 to 1,653 pounds or 360 to 750 kilograms. And they have found some that weigh over 1,100 pounds or more. So there's kind of their general weight and size. Now, do manatees have blubber or fur? Fun fact, manatees actually don't have a thick layer of blubber, nor really fur for insulation. So they don't have fur. They don't have a really thick blubber layer. They actually have a very, very, like a very thin layer of fat. And then they have what's known as stiff hairs. So it's not like fur. It's a different kind of hair. And we'll go into more detail about that down the road here. That's over their skin. And unfortunately, because they lack a thick blubber layer, they are actually really sensitive to the cold. So that's where you're going to find them in the warmer climates. They like to, you know, hang out in the warm waters. That's why they're found in like Florida or the Caribbean or, you know, like in very warm areas. That's where you're going to find them. So they will and they will go out of their way to find warm water shelters as well when winter hits. So they do migrate to warmer climates or warmer places that they know will keep them warm during the cold periods. So, yep. Also, hi, Lake. Welcome in. Sorry I'm late. No, you're good. You're good. Don't have to go to the store and buy jackets like the rest of us. Yeah. So they do prefer, you know, very warm climates. They can, if they don't want to get cold stress or what's known as cold shock too, which can be really, really, you know, obviously they can't, you know, if they're staying in cold water, you know, a lot of their body heat's going to leave and they will get hypothermia and die from it. So that is something that can happen. I hope they were okay during the recent super cold temps. Yeah. It's really unfortunate. So where can you find them? As I mentioned, you know, in warm climates. So there's kind of a map here. It's kind of funny though that the Stellar sea cow, which is the extinct fourth one that I mentioned earlier, they lived up in really kind of an interesting area. They lived in very colder area, which is fascinating. Compared to the other three that live in the, obviously, the warmer areas of the world. So where are you going to find Amazonian manatees? So these guys are actually exclusively freshwater. So they only live in freshwater habitats. So they're found obviously by the name. They're in the Amazon River. So they're found there. You can also find them in the basin in the South America as well, of the Amazon River. They are also found in parts of like Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Guyana. I butchered that. I'm so sorry. So they're found mostly in the rivers, like that, in the Amazon River. So you're gonna find them just in the Amazon River. Wow, shocking, right? There were manatees in Africa. Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah. And then the West Indian manatee, their name doesn't quite make sense because they're not based in India. They are found in the southern eastern part of the U.S., mostly found in Florida. There will be found in the Caribbean, Brazil, and they actually, the cool thing about them is they can go between fresh and salt water. So they can kind of go between the two. West Indies, that's what about where they are. Yeah, exactly. The West Indies. That a lot of people think of India, but it's the West Indies. Yeah, exactly. Because Columbus was an Columbus was an idiot. So, but you can see here on the map, they like to travel. So I have actually a fun fact about a West Indian manatee. So, I knew that they were from the Caribbean because a manatee managed to swim from the Caribbean. It caught onto the warm belt. So the warm water that gets pushed up to the north to like keep it from being super, super cold. And it rode up the warm belt and ended up in Cape Cod, so in Massachusetts, and they were able to catch it because it was during the summer that it traveled up, and they were able to bring it back down before winter hit, which was really very nice. And she was pregnant too with a little baby. And then they thought she was from Florida and they put her down there, and then she went back to the Caribbean, and we were like, wow. So there's a little fun fact. Apparently she's the first one to travel that far up north. So they typically don't travel that far, but she somehow did. She decided to just, she wanted to get away for the summer, you know, and see what it was like, have a little vacation. So, and then we have our West African manatees, which you can find, obviously, West Africa, you know. And then they also can be found in the Senegal River, and then also down to the Angola in that river there. So, fun stuff like that. Get some tan in Jamaica or something. It was, I guess she wanted a tan in up north. She wanted to experience what summers up north were like, you know. It just do be like that sometimes. But here's kind of the general map here you can see of each one. And then you can see dugongs. They live on the east side. And they live all in the Australia and all that. So the dugongs are just chilling here. And then these guys are just hanging out here. But you can see at least our three like to hang out right here. Kind of in the same like lateral and longitudinal kind of range, or laginal longitudinal ranges. They're kind of in the similar areas. That one's on the west coast of the Atlantic, and then the other is on the east coast. And then the Steller sea cow is like way up north, which is very fascinating to think of, you know. All right, so what preferred habitats, because they're very confined to those spaces, right? Obviously because of warm water, but they also have a preferred habitat as well. So each one has kind of their own habitat that they prefer. So for instance, the Amazonian manatee, they like to inhabit, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, fresh water. So they'll be found in like rivers, lakes, lagoons. They have been found to prefer like very shallow, quiet, black water areas with tons of vegetation because they are herbivores, as we mentioned earlier. And then during the wet season, I found out they actually migrate into flooded forests and grasslands to feed, which is so fascinating. I didn't know that. So there you go. The West Indian manatee, they like to hang out in rivers, estuaries, saltwater bays, canals, coastal areas, Florida, they're usually found there. So that's kind of where they like to hang out between. And then they also can hang out in fresh and saltwater environments. Obviously, though, they're going to want to be in freshwater. And the reason why they prefer freshwater over saltwater is, fun fact, manatees can't drink saltwater. Actually, a lot of marine mammals can't drink saltwater. So they have to find a way to get fresh water, which is super, super important. So that's why they go into freshwater areas, because they can get fresh water that way to drink. So they can't drink up salt water. So freshwater is how they get it. So you may have heard of like people who had hoses off of their backyards, and that's like illegal. You can't do that because it does attract them, because they will drink the water out of the hose, because that's like obviously fresh water coming out of there. But it's like very, very illegal to do, because they don't want them to like get close to humans and things of that sort. So that is a very important thing. And then the West African manatee, they also prefer, shallow coastal waters, rivers, estuaries, all the stuff. And then they also like mangrove creeks too, which is really nice. And of course, they're going to perform warm, sheltered freshwater and brackish water environments. So, that they need for fresh water makes sense. Yeah, so they have to obtain fresh water in different ways. So because, for instance, like dolphins, they get their fresh water from actually the fish that they eat. Because if you think about it, what are we mostly made up of? Water, right? We're mostly made out of water. So fish are also the same way, where they're made up of water, and that's how they can get their freshwater intake. But manatees, they're herbivores, so they're not eating fish. So obviously they got to find ways of getting water, because they can't eat fish, obviously, because they're herbivores. So, and, speaking of, what do they like to eat? So as we mentioned, because they're herbivores, they like to eat submerged, floating, and emergent plants. So they'll eat, their favorite is seagrass. And they will eat on a daily basis of about roughly 10 to 15% of their body weight a day, which is not too bad. I mean, it's a lot, but it's not that bad. And the reason why it's so low is because they're very slow moving animals. So they're not using as much energy that it takes. So because they're moving very, very slow and they're not using as much energy, they don't need to eat as much. So you'll notice like things that are very high energy versus low energy. You're going to see high energy animals are going to eat way more of their body weight versus low energy animals. So you'll start to notice this trend as we talk more about, different kinds of animals. And of course, like what they usually like to eat specifically, obviously seagrass is their number one favorite. Algae they'll eat, mangrove leaves, freshwater vegetation. So like hydrilla, water lettuce, and water hyacinth is also very, very popular. So they do like to eat that. And then how they kind of eat it is what's known as prehensile lips. And they just graze for like 6 to 8 hours a day. And I'm sure you're wondering, like, what the hell is a prehensile lips, right? Like, what is that, right? What is that? The best way to kind of describe it is they are a very special, like, their lips have such muscles and mobilities that they can be like, they can grasp, manipulate, and like grip on objects just like how we were able to grab things with our hands. So their lips are literally like hands or salad tongs or fingers that we can grip. That's kind of what their lips are. So that's a great way to describe, So they it's one of those moments of what that mouth do, type of thing. So if you ever run into a Vtuber manatee, what's up. They got that mouth can do stuff. I'm just saying that mouth can do stuff like a monkey's tail. Yes. So you're saying a manatee is a great kisser? Yes, very. So why are manatees so important, right? Like, you've probably heard like all these things about like why we need to protect them. Like, you're like, okay, they're these slow moving like grazers and whatnot. Like, what's their purpose, right? Like, who cares? Like, they're what do they contribute? Manatees actually do a lot of beneficial stuff. One of the things is that grazing behavior. So because of this, they can actually maintain seabeds and keep them healthy and look really nice. And, you know, they graze only the top. So it's kind of like mowing your grass. That's kind of what they're doing to keep it at a very healthy. It doesn't get overgrown. It doesn't take over everything. It keeps the seabeds and the seagrass contained. So it won't be overpopulated and you just have all this algae and seagrass growth that you can't see anything and it just takes over everything. It can be really unhealthy. So if manatees are around, it's a good sign the seabed, the seagrass is doing well too. And the really crazy part is manatees don't actually have any natural predators. But somehow manatees have still become endangered, which is crazy because it's like, okay, well, they don't have any predators. So what is causing them to decline, right? Like, why are they on such a decline right now? And especially like the worst part is there's 4 species. One of them's extinct, which is the stellar one, the stellar sea manatee, which is already extinct. And then these 3 are already on the decline. And it's like, well, nothing's eating them. Nothing's causing them to like decline. Why is that the case, right? And unfortunately, it's because of us humans. We are their biggest threat, believe it or not. We are really the reason why. Shocking, right? And all 3 species are at risk of extinction. So they are listed as vulnerable or threatened, which is not good for all of them. They are all, you know, feeling it. As you can see, our Vtuber manatee is upset and our dugong friend is also upset because he understands that this isn't good. This isn't good at all, right? Well, what is causing this decline? What are we doing that's causing them to decline so much? One is they are starving because there is not enough seagrass. A lot of the seagrass habitats are dying out. They are losing a lot of seagrass habitat loss. And this is because of a lot of runoff of, agricultural, industrial nutrients is running off. It's going into our, waters. Dredging is a big one because it's ripping up the bottom of the ocean, which rips up seagrass, coastal development, boat propellers, great one. Also climate change. So, and this is, it's causing the rising temperatures and sea levels. And they also, you'll be noticing like climate change, it causes hotter summers, colder winters. It can do this very, very crazy change of extreme weather changes. And because of all, the runoffs and all that. And fun fact, actually, runoff and nutrient runoff, it has a lot of nutrients in it that is really, really like yummy to algae. And algae will eat up like fertilizers and all that kind of stuff. And it causes the algae to bloom, which we mentioned before. Algae blooms, it's not a good thing. When there's too much of one thing, it can actually be very, very harmful. And algae blooms alone has caused 29% of seagrass beds to be lost since 1879. Crazy to think of, right? That 29% of seagrass loss has been based on algae blooms alone since 1879, which that's a lot. Another one, boat collisions. Unfortunately, boat collisions are super, super harmful to manatees. The reason why is some people don't follow the boat speeding rules. And I cannot stress this enough. If you know anyone who is a big boater or like you have your family, friends, whatever, please make sure they follow the boat speeding rules. If they are going to ignore it and speed through and just be obnoxious about it, there's a reason why speeding rules exist. And the sad thing is manatees get very, very curious. They do kind of hear this noise and they're going, oh, like, what is this noise I'm hearing? So they'll go to the surface, kind of trying to investigate. And then this boat that's speeding on through hits the poor manatee and can kill them a lot of the times. And it does end up killing them. And you may notice a lot of manatees that get brought in or you'll see out in the ocean have a lot of boat strike scars on them. And it happens more often than not, they get hit by boats. You'll see a lot of scars on them a lot of the times, which is really, really sad to see. And then, of course, pollution. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. You know, it's toxic, harmful to the environment. You know, plastics, things like that. They might try to eat that and, you know, it's not good for them. And then, of course, you know, pollution is poisoning, you know, the environment. It's poisoning us. It's poisoning them. It's just not good. So pollution, obviously, no bueno. And then, as I mentioned, climate change, you know, we're going to notice the weather. Like, for instance, Florida, it's been getting hit with very, very more cold days, which cools the water down enough to get hit with, you know, they get hit with cold shot or cold stress, which can also lead to death. Especially stress can cause death. It's, you know, it causes death in humans. It can cause death in animals too. And they're very, very sensitive to stress. So those are some causes. So what can we do as people, right? Like, what can we do to help these manatees, right? I want to ask you guys, chat, how many of you guys really like manatees? Like, how many of you guys are like, oh my God, I love them. They're so cute. I want to, like, I don't want them to go extinct, right? Like, how many in chat, how many of you guys, like, love manatees? I want to see how many of you guys like them, right? And the reason why I'm asking this is because, you know, a lot of people want to know how to save the animals that are important to them, right? Like, a lot of people want to figure out, you know, a way that we can help them, you know? And you don't have to, like, love them. You don't have to be like, oh my God, they're the best thing in the world. You're just like, I want to do something to help them, right? Because obviously they're important to the environment. And not only that, think of it this way too. You don't even have to like them, but you sure don't want to let them down, because if they go, that can impact us in a very, very, very negative way. So also remember that all these animals, we work together. Without one, it can cause a whole collapse, and it can definitely negatively impact us. All right? Not that I fight one. Oh, I got a story to tell you about them. You definitely don't want to fight them. So what can we do to save them, right? Make room for manatees, right? So when you are boating, make sure you are at a very safe distance, or, you know, just in general, at a safe distance from manatees. Now, I will tell you, some manatees are curious. They're gonna want to come up and check you out. It is very, very, very illegal to touch them. You are not allowed to touch a manatee because they are on the threatened list or the vulnerable list. All manatees are endangered. They are protected. You are not allowed to touch them. But sometimes manatees will like to touch you, and that's fine. Let them touch you. Do not touch it, okay? You can allow them, just let them do their thing. Let them bump into you, do their thing. Don't touch them, okay? Do not touch them, all right? We don't want them to feel, you know, especially, you don't know what can happen. Yes, they are very slow and all this stuff. But let me tell you a story. When manatees are in, you know, breeding season, they get very violent, actually. They are horn dogs, where they will even try to have sex with a corpse of a manatee. They will do anything. And especially their tail, that tail, hold on, let me pull up a manatee's tail. I love how I just put the dugong in here as, like, my thing. That tail, that thing can hit you so hard you can lose teeth and be knocked out. So do not go near them, especially during mating season. They will fuck you up, and they will try to have fun time with you, okay? Like, they are horn dogs. Like, you just stay away from them, okay? I'm just saying, all right? Like, oh, God. Oh, my God. Somebody in 2020 scraped the algae off the back of one to get to spell the name of a certain person I won't name here. This happened in the area. I was like, yes, it was so bad. Wait, why did I see thick thighs? Oh yeah, there's a manatee VTuber. She's very, very sweet. I have a photo of her, but I use this to cover. But yeah, I love her little outfit too, because you can see she's got little seagrass wrapped around her. So cute. I'll show you a photo at the end here. Oh, too far. Okay, so like I said, do not touch them. Also, please, 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 if you are boating, please follow the rules of the speed limits. And even if you're in confined areas, go slow, especially if you know that manatees are going to be in the area. Go slow. Do not speed through. Like, that is how you can prevent yourself from having a collision with a manatee. That is so important. Also, if you see, a manatee, report a sighting of one, because this can help researchers who are studying them and also help increase protection of these amazing, incredible creatures. It's so important. Research, I know it doesn't sound much, but like reporting a sighting does help, because the more we know, the more we can do to protect these guys. So, it'd be manually powered. I don't like them yeah, exactly. Manually powered, like, whatever you can do. Just if you have to use a motorized boat, please go slow. I would recommend manually as well. I totally agree with you on that goblin. Also, another thing, reduce and avoid using fertilizers that can feed algae growth. There are plenty of if I get people's grass is important to them. You can find fertilizers that are way better for the environment that still helps your grass. They make fertilizers that just has the right amount of nutrients, so none of it goes to waste. And especially if you need to use fertilizer, use it sparsely. Do not always fertilize like every 2 weeks. It's insane. Grass will be fine. You literally just give it some water every 2 days out of the week. It will be good. On a hot day, up that number, okay? Grass will thrive. It does not need fertilizer all the time. Please, 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 please. Okay? Or if you don't give a shit about your grass, great. If you don't want to have grass, get rid of it. Get mulch, put some flowers in there. You're good. You're Gucci, okay? The farmers doing it correctly or too much? Yeah. It's a problem. The English countryside, similar issues, and health of our waterways? Yes. I have rocks instead of grass here in the desert? Yes, yes, yes. So do not use fertilizers. And then also show your support for projects and policies that will benefit manatees. It is so, so, so important. Be involved with the animal. You can always get, emailed about it, learn about the issues. And all of this, actually, all these facts that I just gave you came from the National Wildlife Federation. So everything I said here for what we can do, what we can do is from the National Wildlife Federation, okay? So all of these, that's what they recommend. I vouch it. I believe this is what they said personally, and I agree with all of it. There's no no question of that. So this is what the National Wildlife Federation recommends, okay? So make sure you follow these as well. And then, of course, finally, the most important one of all is educating the community. Like what I'm doing with you guys. In the U.S. isn't invasive, ain't it? I don't remember. I think it's invasive. Yeah, I think most grass is. It is. But yeah, educate yourselves. Educate people around you. Talk about the local, ecosystem around you, or talk about the waterways around you, or your environment around you. It's so good. Education is powerful. Education is key. It helps. It's so, 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 so important. Educate yourselves. I cannot stress this enough. And not only educating yourselves, but also educating others about it too. Especially if you are in an area where these animals live, it's okay to go and like teach people about it. That's why I am doing this class, because I want to teach you all, because this is a way that we can help the environment, you know? It's so, so important. And hopefully these classes are making you guys being a little bit more conscientious of what you are doing and how to help out, and maybe motivate you to go out and help your you know, local areas, your local ecosystems, all that kind of stuff. Grass is invasive. Yes, yes, yes. I was like, I believe so. I think it's like certain grass, right? I forget which one. I know there's like a few that are invasive, and then there's like native ones, but I can't remember which ones are the native versus not. I don't remember. All right, so fun facts that were quoted by Florida's Fish and Wildlife about manatees, because they had all these fun facts, and I was like, well, obviously I gotta yoink these because they're so good. The nostrils on a manatee, believe it or not, you know, they actually close, so they can clench their nose. They're like, ugh, to close it so that way they don't get water up their nose, which, you know, is good. It's good. Like, you know, that's important. And manatees, if you notice, they have little bitty eyes, right? And because they have such little small eyes, they have what's known as a I'm gonna butcher this, nictitating membrane, and this can be drawn over their eyes to protect the eyes when they're underwater, but allows them to still have some sight, so they can still see, which is really, really great. All long grasses are invasive. They are Kentucky bluegrass, which originates from Europe. Yeah, nictating. Yeah, nictating. I was gonna say, I think it's nictating. Yeah. And then, so they actually do have ears, believe it or not. They're just these little openings that are just right behind the eyes. And they just, the difference is that they just lack the external lobe. So like how our ears, we can see them. That's the external lobe. So we have external lobes. They don't. So they just got little holes. And then, as I mentioned before about that stiff, those stiff hairs that they have on the front of their face, it looks kind of like what we call whiskers. So those are known. They actually have a terminology. It's called vibrissae. And these grow around, as you saw, like they kind of look like a mustache. They grow around the mouth. And these actually play a very, very important role for manatees. So, and the reason why is these little hair follicles can actually provide them kind of like a tactile system. So it helps them to understand kind of the changes in the water. So like the currents and the pressure of water, which is really cool. So it gives them a ton of information, so that way they can understand what's happening around in their environment, which is really, really fascinating. So there you go. They got vibrissae, you know. Another fun fact, manatees don't have eyelids or eyelashes. So, and so you're like, well, I've seen them like close their eyes, right? And it's really fascinating. So their eye muscles actually close in a circular motion, kind of like a aperture on a camera. So yeah, their eyes close like a camera, which is so interesting. Like I was like, wait, they don't have eyelids? No, they just like, they blink from like their pure muscles of their eyes. They're just like, ugh, flex. How in tarnation? Yeah, isn't that crazy? And yeah, manatees can, you know how they're missing that external earlobe? They can actually hear pretty well. without having external earlobes too, which is really, really cool. So that's how they're able to hear boats from a while, and then they get to the surface, and when a boat's going fast, they can still hit them because they can hear it quite at a distance and get to the surface before the speeding boat, you know, passes them, which is really interesting. So it's kind of like those bone vibrating headphones. Yeah. And a manatee's heartbeat, they are at a rate to 50 to 60 beats per minute. And they can actually slow it down to 30 beats per minute. So when they are diving, they can slow it down, which allows, actually, when you lower your heart rate, it actually allows you to stay under the water a lot longer, which is fascinating. So they can slow it down, so that's how they can stay under the water. Turtles do this too. Turtles can slow their heart rate down so much, and that's like why it allows them to stay under the water a lot longer. So there you guys go. So their normal heart rate is about 50 to 60, and then when they're diving and doing a long dive, they can drop it down to 30. So they can just, like, you know, they could just be like, all right, heart, let's slow down, which is fascinating that they have that kind of control. And manatees actually don't have any biting teeth and only grinding teeth because, you know, they don't need a bite because, you know, they're just eating plants. So mammalian dive reflex, yeah. And so their teeth are all molars. So we have molars because we're omnivores, so we eat meat and vegetation, and we have our molars in the back which help us grind. So they just have an entire row of molars, which is fascinating. And they actually have new teeth that come in at the back of the jaw and will move forward horizontally. And it moves about 1 centimeter a month. And the front molars will, like, pop out and be replaced. So it's almost similar to, like, a shark's tooth where they pop out and then the next row kind of comes out. But theirs is a little different, which is so fascinating. I didn't know that their teeth, like, they can just, like, constantly grow teeth. And it makes sense because when they're eating plants, there's, like, obviously they're if you've ever seen them eat, they get a lot of sand, like, kind of, like, stirred up in the water. So obviously if you're, like, eating plants and you're getting a lot of sand in your food, like, sand is a rock, sand can grind down and wear those teeth down. So that's why they have this, like, system to, like, replace them. A conveyor belt teeth, yes, it's literally conveyor belt of teeth. And I didn't know manatees could do this too. I thought that was a really fun fact. I was like, what? They can do that? That's crazy. It is coarse and irritating. Yes, it is very coarse and irritating. Before that, evolution must have sucked. Yeah. All right. So manatees have only 6 cervical neck vertebrae, which is very interesting. So, like, giraffes, believe it or not, have 7. Other mammals, we have 7. Manatees only have 6. And because of that, they actually can't turn their head sideways. They have to turn their whole body around. So their head is just one direction. And then if they want to, they're just like, they have to, like, move their whole body. It's so cute. And then their rib bones are also very, very solid. It has no bone marrow in it, which is very interesting. So, well, then how do they make red blood cells? Because bone marrow is, like, where red blood cells are made. And they actually have it in their sternum. So that's where their marrow is, their bone marrow. It's actually found in their sternum. So that's how they make red blood cells. So it's only in their sternum, but their ribs are solid as fuck, dude. You get hit by one of those, that's gonna hurt, all right? Like, our bones are, you know, we have marrow in our bones, but, like, it's just solid bone through their ribs, which is crazy. And then another fun fact, believe it or not, manatees also have pelvic bones. So, and you're like, but wait, that doesn't make any sense, because how would they when they don't have legs? Which you are correct, they don't. But a long time ago, manatees actually used to live on land. Believe it or not. They used to be land-dwelling animals, and eventually they went from land into just solely the ocean. And over time, the pelvic bones kind of just sit there, and they're just now, yeah, blue whales have it as well. Like a lot of whales, you may find out a lot of like certain whales and stuff have their pelvic bones. They're just sitting there. They're not really, you know, doing anything. And they're gonna be near on the manatee. They're gonna be near like the reproductive organs, all that stuff. The urinary, like their urinary bladder. And yeah, it's like they're just there. Like they're not any use. They're just sitting there. Like they haven't had enough time to like disappear fully. They're just there in case they eventually decide they want to, you know, become land dwellers again down the road. And they actually start, so the bones actually start off very, very soft when they're younger, and then they harden as they get older. Similar, you know, to people, you know, where our skull, which is a little different, but you know, you get the gist of it. And then I see that we're gonna get hit with the ads soon, so we're gonna take a quick break here, so I won't continue, so that way you guys aren't missing any of the facts when the ads hit. But do you guys have any questions so far about anything we've been talking about the manatee? You guys have anything? Any questions, any concerns, any comments? Is there anything that you guys learned about manatees that you didn't know and you're like, what? Like, didn't know about that? No! R.I.P. Yeah. All right. Since I had a little blip, okay. Refresh. Did you guys get hit with ads? Can you guys still hear me? Oh my god. Okay, you can hear me still? Did you get hit with ads? It's just ads though? Okay. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna let the ads play and then we'll be right back. I don't know when it changed to the ads were finished. Why did no one say that the ads were done? I just realized. I'm like, man, this is taking a while. And then I scroll up and I see the ad break is finishing. Oh my God. I don't get the adverts, so I don't know. Gotta go need to get dinner. Yeah, no worries, Psycho. I just had to reload. Oh, no, you guys should. Okay, whenever the ads are done, just let me know. So that way you're like, I know I can come back. Because I'm like, man, these 3 minutes are taking a long time. All right. So, all right. Now we're on to our next fun facts. So other remnant bones, so including like the pelvic bone that just is sitting there, they're not using. There's, believe it or not, they have other bones that are still not being used as well. More than just the pelvic bone. They have their hyoid bones, which is located near the neck region. And these are kind of similar to the Adam's apple in humans. And they're just there. Like, we don't know why. They're just chilling. Like, we don't know why they had them because they had no use for them back then. Like, I don't know why they have it like that. They're just there. They exist. And another thing is, so there's a difference between a fin versus a flipper. So this is actually really, really important. So that's why if you ever hear me describing, like, manatees have 2 flippers, dolphins have 2 flippers, fish have fins, sharks have fins, there's actually a difference between a flipper and a fin. And that difference is that flippers actually have bones in them while fins don't. That is really the only difference. And a lot of the times people describe flippers to have the bone structures similar to a human hand. So they have joints and finger-like bones, like fingers. They have, 5 of them, which is really cool. And believe it or not, and narwhals have horns. No, they don't have horns. Oh, and narwhals do have horns. Yeah, so, like certain ones. So for instance, like males will have horns and then a female has a chance of getting a horn. It was like 13 to 15% of them getting a horn. So I was one of the lucky ones. And anyway, sorry, sidetracked of narwhals. So they can also use these flippers to kind of help move through the water and like scoop up food to its mouth and like hold objects, which is so cute. And they have what's known as little toenails. They got little nails. So they have about 3 to 4 nails at the end of each flipper, which is so cute. And it's aligned to the finger-like bones inside the... So they got little nails. They got little nails, chat. So we can slay them up. We can paint their nails and be like, slay, queen. So they can have painted little fingies. But like I said, don't ever touch them. For real, we can take a picture of one and then just paint the little nails. But yeah, I thought that was fascinating that manatees actually have little nails, which is so fascinating. And then they can kind of use like their flippers like hands. Dolphins can't do that, which is really, really fascinating. Only manatees so far can, which is really cool. And some fun facts about them is manatees, actually, their lungs are kind of right along the backside of it. So it's right up against its rib cage and backbone. And that is in pretty much like most mammals. You're going to find the lungs closer to the rib cage, which is really fascinating. And their lungs can be as long as 1 meter. Or more in adults, and about the width of 20 centimeters and as thin as 5 centimeters or less, which is fascinating. So really, really cool. And not only do they use their lungs for breathing, but it also helps them with buoyancy control as well. So they, instead of having a swim bladder like fish have, which controls their buoyancy, they use their lungs to control buoyancy. So also, hi, Matt Dog. Welcome in. probably for the best. Dolphins don't have flippers like manatees. Yeah, it's good that they don't have flippers like manatees. Exactly. And another really crazy thing is you think they're slow and they don't have much maneuver, like they can't like move their neck and stuff, but they're actually pretty quite agile in water. They can swim upside down, they can roll, they can do somersaults, and they can move vertically in water. So they have a lot of agility compared to other animals. They can do a lot of stuff. So I thought that was really cool that they can, you know, just roll around, they can somersault, you know, they can swim vertically, which is really interesting. Not a lot of animals can do that. And the fact that they can just swim upside down, which is really cute. So there you go. And there you all go. Thanks, chat, for listening. So, what did you all think of today's class? Also, hi, Caramel. Welcome in. The cutest narwhal of them all. I'm doing good. We just did our class on manatees. And, you know, we have the wonderful, you know, manatee witch here, which is very, very cute. What do you guys think? And then we got our little dugong friend here. So I just purposely put the dugongs around to fool you guys. I wanted to see if you would catch on. I wanted to see if anyone would catch on to me putting the dugong instead of the manatee. And I hope that people that watch this are like, wait a minute, that's not a manatee. Those are dugongs. How dare you? It's not the dugong, I know. Yeah, so what was your favorite fun class? This was not what I thought this class was about. What do you mean? What did you think the class was about, Anon? Also, welcome in, Anon. Hello. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you've been doing well. Daughter gives stream 2 thumbs up. Well, tell your daughter thank you so much. I appreciate it. What was your favorite fact to learn about manatees today, chat? Or a fact that you didn't know about that you're like, wow, I didn't know that about them. Like, I learned a lot. And I learned about them a lot. Matt, no. Bad, Matt, bad. I'm not reading that out loud. There are children watching. I missed a dugong. Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about dugongs, but they're like in the same kind of... Oh, lordy. Whoops. That was... I don't know how I did that. Okay. I somehow clicked. Yeah, oh, here it is. I thought this was 18 plus. Listen, for educational stuff, it's okay. I let it slide. And they're with their father. Their father's in chat right now. Their flippers with nails thing was neat. Yes. I think you're going to talk about BL, you know. No, it's actual manatees. Oh my god. Tooth. Oh yeah, the teeth, how they can like replace their teeth and how they can grow them back like a conveyor belt. I know that was another one I didn't know about. And I was like, what? Crazy. They have teeth. Yes, they have teeth, man. They have to chew the vegetation somehow. You know we have molars to help with like chewing like greens, like lettuce and, you know, seaweed and vegetation. I thought they had the same shit that whales do. You're thinking of baleen, which so Matt, there's 2 types of whales, and it's based on their teeth. There's the true tooth whales and the baleen whales. There are whales that have teeth and whales that have baleen. I know many animals replace teeth, sea elephants or sharks, but the method on how some of them do it is interesting. Yeah, it's super interesting. And then we got our little dugong. So, but there you guys have it. You learned about your manatees. I hope you were educated. Doesn't the sperm whale have teeth? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Those do, but blue whales and the like have baleen. Yes, exactly. Correct. There are two types of whales: the true tooth whale or the baleen whale, which we if we can do a whole deep dive on whales, and I can tell you the differences and the breakdowns and all that jazz. Alrighty, but that's why you're here, is to learn, and you're getting educated, and you're learning that things that you may have didn't realize. Like, now you know that there are baleen whales and whales that have teeth. So there you go. What's the next lesson? Yeah, that's a good question. So chat, now that we've talked about manatees, now it's time to decide, what do you guys want to learn about next? What do you want to learn about next class? Axolotl? Ooh, axolotls are fun. Ooh, I could maybe get Pockethy Ann, little Pocky, to join. She's amazing. She's an axolotl. See that, chat? I ask good questions. You do. You do. I didn't know there were multiple varies. I thought they were just a Florida thing. I thought they were water rednecks. A lot of people... Yeah, that's the thing, too. Like, I didn't realize there were different species. Also, I just... this right here triggers me. Like, these two, they're actually dugongs. And I put them in here just to fuck with people, to catch on, to be like, that's not a manatee, that's a dugong. So, but yeah, there's different kinds. That was the thing I was talking near the start of stream. Was that the thing I was talking? Yes. Yeah, I was trying to see if anyone caught on. That's why I mentioned about the tail, to see if you you caught on to it. That's why I pointed out the tails. And I wanted to see if you guys would catch on. Because I even put them in the presentation at the beginning. I don't know the name of it, but how are the lizard that runs out? Oh, are you talking about iguanas? Are you talking about iguanas? So we have axolotl, whales, and iguanas. Two more, chat. Do we want to add on? Also, Sir Big Cat, do you mind making a poll as well? Piranhas and basilisk? Ooh, we could do one. Yeah, there we go. There's our 5. All right. The one that's specifically the Jesus... Oh! Wait, I don't know if they're... Wait, I forget. Yeah, I don't know the name of them. Hold on, let me Google them. Are they called Jesus lizards? Oh my god, they are called Jesus lizard. I didn't even know that. Oh! No, the name that you brought up. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Okay, we need one more. It was just the same thing. Okay, so we have axolotl, whales, piranhas, and the Jesus lizard. In the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. Exactly. and then I don't know. What's the 5th one? What's the last one we want to put in? Come on, chat. Give me a name. Give me a name, chat. Give me a name of an animal. A marine mammal. I don't know if wait, are Jesus lizards dolphins? Sure, we'll do dolphins. All right, there we go. That I know, that giant squid. No. Sorry, Var. Oh, wait, no, we can't do that, because Var is going to be a special guest, so Var gets to choose the day, that we're doing dolphins. I forgot. Yeah, don't do dolphins. Never mind, scratch that. Because Var's gonna pick, because they're a dolphin VTuber, so I'm bringing them on. They're gonna learn about it. Don't worry about it. That sentence is, yeah, no, you're good. Giant squids. Okay, giant squids. All right, there you go. I mean, if they want it. Are you sure? Would you be available next Friday? Would you be down for next Friday? I mean, we could. Would you be down for next Friday? Friday? Okay, so let's do axolotls, whales, piranhas, Jesus lizard, and dolphins. Those were the first 5. I do have dinner around this time-ish, but yeah. Well, we finish up around this time, so we'll do those 5. Did you get that, Sir Big Cat? You can also invite Trua to the dolphin one. Don't tell her killer whales are dolphins until they start. Oh, that's true. I was gonna do orcas separately, but you're right. Dolphins, I could bring True on. That is true. But she's sick right now. I know she's been really sick, so we'll see. We'll see. I can't even see the poll. Wait, is the poll up? Why can't I see it? Killer whales are dolphins. Yep. Well, dolphins are also whales too, so it's just they're more on the yeah, pretty bad sick. Yeah. Yeah, refresh to see the poll. Refresh chat to see the poll, guys. Make sure to vote for which animal you want to learn about next week. Make sure to refresh and that we can choose which one we want to learn about next week. All right. My head hurts. See, this is where you're going to learn. We're going to educate. Ooh, we got whales. Well, also whales and dolphins are kind of in the same boat. So I shouldn't have... I mean, yeah, I guess I could have just done the 2 and then just be like, yeah, dolphins are part of this group, but we're not going to talk about them. They're another day. All right. All right. Ooh, Jesus lizard and dolphins are tying right now. All right, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? And whales got 1. Axolotls got 0. And piranha, you spelled piranha like really wrong. I love the effort though. I mean, whales are nice, and dolphins are jerks. Yeah, that is true. I don't care. Fuck it. It is piranha. In case, yeah, we have piranha, axolotl, whales, Jesus lizard, and dolphins. Make sure to get your votes in right now, chat. Right now, get your votes in for what are we going to talk about for next Friday? What are we going to talk about? Also, couldn't you tell I was on my A game today? My thyroid did not shit out on me, which is great. The fuck did it not like? What? Wait, what didn't like? What do you... Piranha. Oh, yeah, that's so weird. I don't know why it... That's weird that it auto-modded that. Yeah, that's how you spell piranha. All I did was spell piranha. I know. I don't know why it's like saying it's a harmful word. I'm like, what do you mean? Piranha is a fish. Like, what are you talking about? We have a tie between Jesus lizard and dolphins. All right, we still got a little bit. We gotta have someone tie break. I need a tiebreaker. Tiebreaker. We need a tiebreaker. Hurry, hurry, hurry. We need a tiebreaker right now. We need a tiebreaker. Who's gonna be the tiebreaker? Who's gonna be the tiebreaker? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. If you holler, let it go. That's Vtuber. My mother told you to pick the very best one, and it was Vtuber. All right, I'm voting. I'm doing the tiebreak. Don't tiebreak it. Make it lizard. All right. I broke it. I broke it. I broke it because we were about to run out. So dolphins won. I break the tie breaks. Well, you didn't, Sir Big Cat. I had to, and I had to do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, so I would have voted dolphins too. Oh, okay. So dolphins would have won anyways. So, all right. So next class is dolphins. Nepotism. Listen, I hate dolphins, okay? I hate them. I despise dolphins, all right? No offense, Farseal. No offense. I know you're a dolphin VTuber. I have all right, Var. Next Friday, are you going to join me? Are we going to have our first guest? I was waiting last second, like the tension. I like the tension too anyway. Are you going to be able to maybe you can eat dinner early. Maybe you can be like, hey, I have to do this thing. I have to learn about dolphins. What the fuck did dolphins do to you? A lot, actually. A lot. My kids will not watch the dolphin. Yeah, don't have them watch that. Don't have them watch that. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Cetacean fight. Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah, dolphins are something else. So, yeah, the kids don't need to learn about the dolphins. They're bad. What homework do I need to do? Just show up and sit pretty, and you know, I will chat with you. And so Varseel's gonna be our first special guest on Narwhale-U. And yeah, no, Var, you just come in, and we'll chat and vibe, and you can learn and chat with me and stuff like that. So there you go. Alrighty, chat. We're gonna have our very special guest, Varseel. I can 100% show up and look pretty. Let's go. Alrighty, chat. Well, on that note, we're gonna end stream here today. And I just want to say thank you all for joining. I hope you had a wonderful stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you had a lot of fun. And I hope you learned a lot today. And I appreciate every single one of you. And we're going to raid. And we're going to raid into Stella Luna, who has returned from her hiatus. And she is one of the coolest peeps. She is the Bessie. And she is amazing and one of my good friends. And make sure y'all give her lots of love and appreciation. Make sure to stick around for the raid, and then you can dip after if you need to head out. But make sure to leave her a lurk and give her lots of support. Also follow her. She's amazing. She's a homie, and she's returning to streaming, which is awesome. And I'm super excited to see her. And yeah, on that note, thank you, everybody. I gotta copy this. I don't know why I'm failing at this so badly. I'm pretty sure she does crack. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. Stella, you know, she's awesome. Also, she re-debuted and has a new model, which is pirate-based. So, you know, obviously we gotta raid. So, you know, obviously we gotta raid in that. But anyways, everyone, have a good rest of your day, evening, and good night. Bye, everyone.